The Call of Boethiah honors the deceiver of nations and is led by the violent and distrustful Zahulu twins. They embrace all Dunmer who can prove themselves through trial, but exiled Housemer and outsiders must work very hard in order to achieve the title Clan Friend. Welcome to Scrollplay. I'm the Human Floyd, and I have a lot of cool things to share with you today. This is the last episode until fall, so buckle in and stay tuned. Jared and Carries of Secunda's Shadow realized that there was a big lack of gamer-centric apparel and accessories, so they have stepped in and decided to make their own. So you can hit up their website. There's a link below. They are building up their stock images, but you can send them pretty much any custom image and they can put it on almost anything. So you could have your guild, your character art, anything like that. Here's little Utek Jaw. And they also sent me this super awesome Scrollplay mouse pad. And it's really high quality too, super thick as you can see, and it has like an almost holographic quality to it, kind of like the old Pokemon cards. And the mug, it's ceramic on the outside and stainless steel on the inside, so that's really nice. And they have all sorts of other products. I mean, we're talking t-shirts, different types of mugs, mouse pads, anything that you want. Their costs are a lot lower than Vistaprint or Cafe Press, especially for custom stuff. And the best part is, if you give them the coupon code SCROLLPLAY, then you can get 20% off your first purchase on their website. So definitely go to Legendary Outfitters, get a guild mug or something like that, and support these guys as they're doing essentially what I'm doing, which is providing inspiration for the roleplay community. So definitely check them out. I also wanted to take a moment to talk about something else. As you guys know, I keep my ear to the ground and I kind of get a feel for how the community is vibing. And lately I've noticed that a lot of community leaders are pretty worn out and tired. The game's been out for over a year, and a lot of us have been running guilds and events that entire time and being active members of the community on websites like TESO-RP long before that. So I just want to say that there's nothing wrong with taking it easy for a little bit. I think sometimes as role players we feel like we constantly need to be pushing the story forward and doing events and stuff like that. But this is a game and it is for fun. Summer can be really busy for some people and really not busy for other people, so the community is going to have that little imbalance there for a little bit. But I promise you, the roleplay community will still be here in the fall, and all the college students will go back to school, get into the swing of things. Everybody will get back from all their vacations and stuff like that. So be patient and thank your guild leaders for all the work that they do. One of the reasons, and there are many, why I want to take a break from Scrollplay until summer is over is to encourage people to go out and enjoy their summer. That being said, there's a lot going on still to get involved in if you are aching for some RP. So let's take a look at some of the community news. A new cross-faction guild has formed. They're known as Secunda's Shadow. They're a werewolf guild who seeks to help strong but struggling werewolves reconcile the beast with the man or mer and turn them into a cunning killing machine rather than a mindless one. You can get a hold of them in-game with the names on the screen, or you can check out their website. In North American Aldmeri Dominion news, the young and brash Zytar Lartharion in recent months has been no stranger to controversy, and his heavily conservative views towards Queen Irene and the Alliance have gotten him in trouble in the territories of the Dominion. He was once accused of saying that Queen Irene was barely an Altmer due to her mysterious disappearance and her non-traditional outlook. Zytar has also been slanted for stating any Altmer who pervert a millennia's work of pure blood conservation by interbreeding with or marrying the lesser races should be exiled from both Altmer Isles and quarantined immediately. Wow. Though he has neither confirmed nor denied such accusations. Go ask him yourself. Attention has begun to gather around nothing more than a humble flower in the gardens of Fair. Wayward mercenary mages, that's a weird combination, have begun to make inquiries for assistance with a singular project. Perhaps they know something we don't. Perhaps they have remembered one of the names for Azura, Mother of the Rose. You can keep up with the story by following Requiem for a Rose, a storyline created by the poetic and talented Galleon, who we interviewed last time. You can also contact him in-game at Galleon, or get a hold of the Ethereal Consortium in-game, or you can follow the thread on NA server events on TESO-RP.com. In Sentinel, a man was seen drinking his sorrows away, lamenting the loss of some sea map, and wishing openly that he had listened to his mother's words about the dangers of these port women. If only I had listened to my mother's words about port women. Hopefully, no one has noticed that the theft seems to come long after the strange ship known as the Nautiloidae has pulled into port. The Iliac Order is reporting that Rivenspire's short-lived outbreak of the Rage Plague has been dealt with, and all related quarantines have been lifted. Citizens are encouraged, though, to continue to report all remaining cases of the plague to the authorities so that the situation may be concluded fully. After the recent theft of a noblewoman's undergarments, rumors begin to swirl that they will be auctioned off at the weekly gathering of criminals in Evermore next week. Get a hold of @Thrawn if you want in on that panty-raiding action. And check out this trailer for the ongoing plotline, Tales from the Second Era, Skyrim.
From the valley deep came the men of Reach. Fresh harvest to reap in the land of White Beach. A worm in their skull, Tribe's river run dry. The Nords to be culled from the rim of the sky.
Still in need of villains to pull this off. There can never be enough of them, so contact me on Engine or at thehumanfluid@gmail.com if you want to help pull this plot off. You can also find more information at tinyurl.com/ESO Skyrim. Reports from Covenant Scouts have indicated that necromancers affiliated with the Withered Hand are targeting the Alakir city of Bergamo. General Krai Gra Ushan, officer of the Covenant Army and matron of the tribe Grulshrog Yol, is assembling an expedition force to defend the city with the assistance of several organizations such as the Wayrest Fighters Guild, Mages Guild, and the House Spellock. Even the Golden Flame from the Ebonheart Pact has come to help, making this a cross-faction roleplay event. The Defense of Bergamo will take place from June 14th through the 21st, with major DM'd events throughout the week to move the plotline forward. There will also be smaller participant-driven missions to accomplish tactical objectives. On the evening of 9th of mid-year, a large crowd assembled in the market square to witness the execution of Cossustain's Arcadius. The man had been found guilty by a jury of his peers for charges of war crimes, Daedra worship, and allegiance to the false empress Clivia Tharn. By his own admission in the trial, Arcadius had presided over the slaughter of innocent, defenseless civilians in Cyrodiil, including children. He seemed remorseful for his crimes and even asked to be sent to Cyrodiil to fight against the Empress, to use his skills to save lives. But there could be no mercy for such a monster. The execution was carried out and at the prisoner's final wish by his own friend, Marius Alius, the same man who had accused him before the court. The following morning, more sinister rumors would begin to spread, unconfirmed by any official sources. His body was stolen. It was taken away from the temple during the night. It was the worm cult, I'm sure. They're gonna raise him from the dead to fight for the Empire once again. The man was a cultist. He worshipped Molech Baal, Daedra of Oblivion. Came straight to him to take him straight to his master to lead the armies again. Demon that he was! The priests would not be forthcoming, as if they had been ordered or threatened not to speak of it. The Scrollplay news team is looking for a new NAEP, that's North American Megaserver, Ebonheart Pact, and EUAD, European Megaserver, Altmer Dominion news correspondent. So, if you want to represent your faction and report news about storylines, ongoing roleplay, new guilds, stuff like that, directly to me to be put on this show, please contact me on Engine or at thehumanfloyd@gmail.com. Next up, I'm going to interview Varlynd, Master Storyteller, about DMing and storytelling in the Elder Scrolls Online. In the extended interview, we talk more about storytelling, we talk about pacing DM events, and the alternatives to using the dreaded thought emote. So definitely check that out if you're a dungeon master or if you run events. Let's hear it. Welcome to Scrollplay again, Varlynd.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to do the full interview since we just had a little tiny short one last time, so there were a lot of topics left untouched, I felt.
So much to discuss.
Yeah, so let's start with my typical first question, which is, how did you get your start in roleplay?
So I think the second time I sat down to play D&D, I think I was 11. And I asked the DM if I could look at the module, and mainly because I didn't like at the time how he was telling the story, and I thought I could do it better. And for whatever reason, everybody decided to let this arrogant little brat give it a try. And I loved DMing, I found out, and I loved playing all the different characters and setting up a story, and that's kind of how I discovered really getting into RP is storytelling through D&D.
So you started out as a DM. That was like some of your first role
really
play.
Inappropriately. I don't know how I pulled that one off.
That's so funny. So you've just been all about the larger story building throughout your role-playing career then.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just always been fascinated with storytelling and fantasy gaming, and roleplay brought all of my passions together in that way.
Nice. That's awesome. From brat DM to master storyteller. I love it. So, that would actually kind of explain my next question, which is that you're a very independent role player, and you kind of hop all over the place, and you don't really seem to be focused on a single guild or even a single faction. I know for me personally, when I'm DMing, I feel kind of like this ghostly presence that just goes around telling stories, being muse. Like, is that due to your typical style of role playing?
I think it's partially a product of just sticking with the same main for so long and having guilds come and go. It's definitely easier to tell a story and to DM events when you have a guild setting. But it's also really liberating and fun to be able to go wherever I'd like.
Definitely.
I draw a lot of inspiration from the locations because they're amazing.
Yeah.
And despite all that ZeniMax has created for us, you still end up running out of new places. So it's great to have the other alliances if I need something new. I got to a point a month ago where I was like, if I have to look at Green Shade one more day, I'm going to burn this shit down.
You and the rest of AD. Oh, that's funny. So, yeah, you've been doing a lot of storytelling on, well, a little bit of storytelling so far on EP. By the time this episode releases, the Worm Ascendant will have happened.
Yes,
So.
for better or worse.
Hopefully worse. From the cultist perspective.
Yes.
So your storylines are always really well planned out. I know when we did the cross-faction roleplay with us and Relics, I noticed immediately that you were a lot more OCD than I am when I
So
run my
diplomatic,
events.
Floyd. Thank you.
I'm not here to be diplomatic.
Oh, okay.
But I think that it creates a very unique type of event that you actually don't see in roleplay all that often. And I think that my events can get really chaotic for some people. I know that I had some visitors from AD who came to one of the Alton Coromant events, and they were like, "I don't know what to do. It's crazy."
Yeah.
And both events definitely have their place, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about your style and what you think comes of that and how that works for you.
Gosh, I mean, I think all of the methods of running an event are equally valid. I do what I do because I'm interested in encouraging the collaborative telling of a meaningful story. And I try to offer all the elements of kind of a detailed arc and allow the participants to sort of unravel and guide that, hopefully in equal parts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to railroad anybody with my OCD tendencies, but at the same time, if it gets too tangential, we might lose the opportunity to tell something really deep and memorable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because the story-driven event is an increasingly rare species.
Mm-hmm.
And on one hand, it's kind of great because the beauty of having a character you regularly RP is that you get to tell the smallest minutiae of their tale. Most days are going to be a little humdrum around the edges, but every once in a while, something completely unexpected will happen. Something that maybe even creates a small shift in a character's life. That's what I like my events to be, if I can give that to people.
Yeah, I can see them as like timeline milestones almost.
Yeah.
Because they're very epic. They're I don't mean like overly grand scale, but they're definitely something that people would notice, and they from what I've seen, they tend to have ripples that last for quite a while.
Well, I like to think that they do. I mean, it's wonderful that people indulge me at all. I'm grateful that I have this opportunity to do this because it's just wonderful for me. All of my passions are here at once, and I get really into it.
Definitely, yeah. Tell me a little bit more about how role playing is sort of the culmination of all of your passions.
Well, actually, it was through roleplay and D&D and tabletop gaming that I started to get into acting and writing and directing.
That's right. You told me that last time. That's so cool.
Yeah, so RP kind of made me who I am.
Yeah, definitely. I can totally relate to you there because I mean, I started role playing when I was about the same age that you were, and like some of the characters that I played actually shifted my perspective on life itself. You know, just
See, that's what I think storytelling should really be. I mean,
oh, definitely.
you should walk away going, something in my brain just shifted.
Yeah, definitely. So, and you feel that the MMO is a good place for that to happen? Do you think that is able to be achieved through events like this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think whenever you have a character, whenever you have a mask, you have the opportunity to kind of reveal a part of yourself or explore a part of yourself through kind of a filter. And I think a lot of people make characters because they have a story that they, on some level, need to tell. And that's so similar to what art does in terms of expressing personal truth. I love that aspect of it, and I try to emphasize that as much as I can.
You're gonna make me cry, Varlynd. It's beautiful. you're speaking my heart. I feel the same
it's
way.
an art form. This is it, and it's really healing for people too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
there's a reason why therapists use role play in sessions, because this allows us to get at parts of our minds and hearts that we can't normally in our lives.
And it can change your mind, you know? Like you can play a role that you might not have understood before
Yeah, absolutely.
and gain perspective as to why people do the things that they do.
Why do necromancers corrupt mortal souls? I've been working on that one.
That's definitely very applicable to real life. So yeah, I feel like having your events so well planned out and very theatrical. In some ways, it feels like putting on a play.
Yeah.
I think that there's definitely that benefit to that because then you can make something, really epic happen.
Yeah, I draw pretty heavily from my theater background.
Yeah.
I try to use the theater principle of show, don't tell. I don't want to cram a story down people's throats or force anybody to read my brilliant walls of text. I think everybody RPs because they enjoy interaction. So I try to encourage as much of that and present as many opportunities for that as possible. And that is where the OCD planning comes into play. Because I find the best way to do that is just to plan for contingencies and to have notes to fall back on. Okay, so if they decide that they don't want to put the characters on trial, then, this happens. And
It's almost like writing a choose your own adventure, but you have to predict what people might do.
And they will always not choose one of the things you plan.
Oh
so.
yeah, without a doubt. That's a lesson that any tabletop DM knows very well.
Yeah. They will always, on some subconscious level, players will try to choose the thing that the DM has not planned for, and that's where you have avalanches.
And rock slides.
Yeah, people die. That's how that happens.
That's right. A lot of your events have something unexpected happen. In fact, I would say probably all of your events. Just to venture a guess.
Yeah, I do kind of thrive on the element of surprise.
So let's hear a little bit about that. How can you surprise role players who have seen and done it all?
I mean, I think the best method is always set the stage and then hit them when and where they least expect it.
Okay.
I think the element of surprise galvanizes the fictional world into life. Real life happens by surprise. If it didn't, I don't know why anyone would bother getting out of bed. That's what keeps life interesting. When I did the masquerade, we had Ruipzin hopping off the roof, attacking. Yeah, rest in peace, Ruip. I'm sorry. And when something like that happens, I think the immersion can suddenly skyrocket.
Oh yeah. I've seen this a lot when a DM reveals a surprise or something unexpected happens. Just about everybody emotes their character's reaction.
Yeah.
And it's usually like a gasp or taking a step back, or
Yeah.
even the people that roleplay the characters that are super badass and are unfazed by everything will emote that they're doing that and maybe raising an eyebrow or something. And it's I've just noticed, especially when I edit videos of roleplay events, it's just like a sudden cloud of speech bubbles whenever
Yeah.
something unexpected happens, and that's always just so satisfying as a DM.
When there's a sudden threat, people will suddenly, oh God, I have to defend my character. This could really get out of hand. There's sort of this subconscious idea that everything is in trouble,
Right, yeah.
even almost maybe even on an OOC level.
Totally, yeah.
So, so it's kind of like a tricky way of getting them to put down their phones or whatever. And
I
go
was
back
just
to
gonna
their
say
keyboard.
that. Put down their phone and
Yeah.
yeah, pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
I think all three factions, probably on both mega servers, could use more villains. I think
Yeah.
villains are in need a little bit.
I have been searching for a year with Varlynd for my necromancer antagonists.
Oh, you're looking for an arch nemesis?
Oh my God, yes. And so it's been very exciting that you guys have decided to do this Tales from the Second Era storyline.
Oh, well, maybe the big bad guy, Aulus Salar, will survive, and he could become Varlynd's arch nemesis.
I would love that so much, I can't even tell you.
That would be very cool, because I'm actually, he was actually made not for this plot line. He was made for separate reasons, and I'm actually very attached to him, although depending on how things play out, he might not make it through this. So we'll see. Mostly it depends on how hard the Skyrim guilds fight back.
So far, they seem rarin'.
Yeah, I think they're ready to tear into some Reachmen. So I have one final question for you.
Okay.
If you were Magnus and you could change one thing about ESO, the game itself, what would it be?
So you mean aside from making every player acknowledge Bretons as a uniquely gifted and superior hybrid race?
Magnus could not do that.
Oh, fine, I went god mode, but you said I could be a god. So I would definitely add DM tools if I could somehow do that. There's so many effects and NPCs that I'd love to use just to have, even just standing in the event area. Even with what we talked about earlier today, it would be so great to have that for Worm Ascendant.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to set an area aside for just role players and have it be in its own little phase bubble.
That would be the other thing I would change, since I'm going to give Magnus 2 powers here. He would also fix phasing so that whenever you're in a group with someone, you would remain in the same phase.
Yeah.
Unless you're fighting Molag Bal.
There you go.
That would be the one exception. I mean, I think a lot of that is probably done for game balancing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many events I've done when I've brought everyone to the final area and suddenly half of us can't see each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's an area that doesn't even have any enemies in it.
Yeah. Even to take the dream farther, I suppose, if we could create our own areas and have, dungeons specifically for roleplay, just totally cleared of enemy NPCs, put whatever sort of friendly NPCs you want in it. I mean,
I would be fired from my job, first of all, for never showing up.
Yeah, I think me too. Imagine how much time you could spend just crafting worlds that way.
Yeah, I want to say that that's an exhilarating idea, but it's actually really healthy for me that does not exist.
Yeah, probably me too. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a great interview.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I will see you soon then, Varlynd.
Sounds good, Floyd.
Well, that was a great interview, and I got to work closely with Varlynd on 2 events recently, one of which played during that interview, and another one, the Worm Ascendant, which was part of Tales from the Second Era Skyrim. So it's been a blast. He's really great to work with, and you could definitely learn a lot from him. The next character corner will be out soon. It's going to be featuring a friend of ours from the Altmer Dominion. But after that, you're going to have to wait for a couple of months or so until the next Scrollplay. In the meantime, I'll be working on the next part to my MMO-RP Beginner's Guide, and I'll also be doing the Tales from the Second Era Skyrim plot. So if you want to get involved, hit me up. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been a great season so far. We're going to do a lot of cool things with the upcoming episodes, including hearing from some people besides me, because let's face it, you're all as tired of me as I am. So definitely have a good summer, guys. I'm going to miss talking at you, and I'm going to miss reading your comments, so please fulfill me with as many comments as you possibly can until then. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Keep role-playing. Peace.